Hi, everyone. Mike and I are breaking out the champagne bottles and popping the corks right here on yields falling apart to the downside. And of course, it's companion US dollar yen following through. Dollar acting real weak, getting to a make it or break it point in the dollar. We'll talk about that another time. And the S&Ps, I thought actually we were going to head towards this line. So I did not catch this move to the upside, but I know my good buddy and one of the best traders I know, Mike Venezia, is probably ringing the register on a news event like this. Am I reading you right, buddy?
Well, you know what, Coach? I'm going to tell you, as I say, good morning, everyone. You know what? I'm ringing the register on stocks this is what I'm doing. If I look at my portfolio now, I just turn on my computer and I look at how my stocks are doing now, relevant to how I just reevaluate the position. For example, if I'm long AMD, for example, I just say if I wasn't have a position right now, what would I think of that about this position here without anything going forward? That's that's how I reevaluate. And I'm going to tell you something. I fell into a little bit of a rookie trap, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I took off some of my winners and I held some of my losers, and the winners kept
Right.
flying,
Right.
and the losers kept going with it. But I had to take some off. That's what I do. You know what I mean? Next. But
yeah, next key word. So I'm going to stop sharing, Mike. I mean, that's a big story is what happened to yields. And, we've been talking about this being a possibility. I've, had a few false starts, but nice week even in the long end of the curve here. We did put in a higher low, talked about the island bottom down here. So this could be the beginning of a pretty good bond rally. I don't know how that can't be supportive of, things like semiconductors and DR Horton. So,
they're certainly not arguing today with you.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the charts.
Okay.
So, the question I'm asking myself is, does it have legs? And when I look at it, I go, well, I can't short it, especially if we close over 39.20. And Jake actually showed with their market profile that if we get above that level, there's a lot of space on the SPY between that and 415. So, you're talking about 200 handles.
Well, not only that, you've got a lot of dealers that got to cover, that got to buy into their puts. A lot of people were offsided, and they got to adjust accordingly.
What bothered me this morning is you showed put buying at such an extreme on the data that you curate for us here at TradeGATEHub. I don't know if you still have that post, but
of course I do. It's relevant.
Yeah, so that made me worry about that. Boy, if the news comes in friendly, they're just going to squeeze shorts, and took out my BE stop. I booked half yesterday. Never like to give back half, but you make money on half your position and you want to take something into major news events, that's the risk I accepted to give back profits. So that's the game. So what do you do now, Mike? Let's say you had fresh money. Okay.
Listen, I faded some things, and right now I'm kind of wrong. I'm not going to lie, but I'm going to be patient. It's not one of these things where I want to carry these, do the
Why
opposite.
are you fading? Why did you decide to fade this move today?
Because well, first of all, I fade any type of move that's up this precipitously, especially. So, I mean, I'll tell you why I did it here. I'll go to my, first of all, his TradeGATEHub, and I'll answer your question right now. There was our tactical sentiment part. I always give Goldman updates, credit default swap, insider buys for having interest. They've been early and they've been wrong. Always the economic data. The guy in the Tesla, I always say this was edified in this. The people always, the option flow tells
that
them.
Is Tesla up big today? Because this guy was buying a lot of puts, and
Well,
Wall Street Jesus.
He was buying puts a month ago. on
a month
October
ago.
14th.
Oh, I see.
And
Okay.
you know, would you go go to October 14th, the guy got
Yeah.
paid. Regardless,
Okay.
I'll give
Yeah.
this is what I posted about Helene and the Nasdaq with
Oh,
the trim.
okay.
If you don't know what this means, all you have to do is correlate two things. Ask me or you, or correlate it to the S&P. It's self-explanatory to a degree. Also, Helene, the bulls went down, the bears went up precipitously again, going into the number. But the real gauge, if you will, and I'm going to answer your question.
Helene's with us next Thursday, Mike.
I can't wait. Here's the seriously, I can't wait. Here's the CPC reading. So this is even this is what's happened when you go all in on a binary situation. Everybody was lopsided. Then
Yeah.
at the open, everything there were stocks up 50 and 40% today that were, that shouldn't be.
Right.
So everybody had when they're lopsided with these options, they had to buy back the puts, what exacerbated the moves. And you're seeing a move right now when the market is, up. I'll get to my charts in a second, but the stocks are well outperforming the market because of this lopsided binary position, if you will.
Yeah, there's a lot of people to squeeze, especially there was a lot of fear about Bitcoin and FTX yesterday. On top of it, that there might be some spillover. I thought there might be some liquidation in other asset classes, but Bitcoin's really snapped back. I think we're getting close to a capitulation. And this breakdown that we had under 18K, I think what we get to about 15
15
at the
and
low.
change, I think 15.8 around there. I really wasn't following it that closely.
Okay. I think it still could go to 14 first, but if you ever start closing back above 18 after this event on a, basically fraud being committed in the crypto space of moving money around to cover trading losses, etc., margin calls, and institutions having to dump, I would say that then you would have a signal of a bottom. You need the market to make this a false breakdown, and that'll only happen when you start closing back over 18.
Well,
So
listen, I'll tell you.
that's what I'm watching.
Well, I'll tell you, I was on the phone with no, and that's an empirical. That's the plan, and I wouldn't argue with it. With obviously it's a democracy, but that is my plan as well. But I'll tell you this: I had a good friend of mine, very good friend of mine. He's been in the room intermittently, and if the market didn't open today, he was finished, literally. And so, to edify your point or back it, until the retail trader has been, kind of blown out, and that was what I was looking for. I don't think that's happened yet. This kept a lot of
I
people.
don't either.
This kept a lot of people in the game.
Yeah.
And
another graveyard save.
No, it was, and it's been, you know what? It's happened a bunch of times.
Like Apple.
That's
what
exactly,
a graveyard.
Apple saved the market last week. That's what I was going to say.
It saved it today.
So, you know what I mean? It feels like a Friday, by the way. So we still have tomorrow. Beware. The crypto, as Jake says, I don't think the crypto situation has abated. There's a lot of hangover with that, and quite honestly, I think the deal with Binance and FTX was just a smokescreen to say that we're actually good and solvent. And then when they looked into it, there was, you know what I mean? Everybody called their bluff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They called their bluff, and it didn't work out. But there's a lot still under the water. And let me get to some charts here. And you know what? You can pick and choose. There are a lot of stocks that acted. There were a lot of stocks that acted well before this ever happened. And
like we pointed out the miners.
You know what? Nougat, thank God I sold some of that today. I did sell some of that, but they were acting well. There are a lot of stocks that continued to act well. Fizzlers continues to act well. Square is now over the 50-day with some volume, as opposed to PayPal, which is not. You're having a stock like AFRM today.
Let's see your charts, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was
okay. It's live TV.
Resume share. I was paused.
Control room, put on Mike's charts. Oh, thank you. There we go. Okay.
What I'm saying is Square back above, technically back again. You had Crocs that no one.
Anything that's down today is really in trouble if it can't rally on a day like this. That's all.
That's the VIX and Gilead. Gilead's actually taking some profit taking, so I don't think anything's major is going on there. The market bounces again. This is not good. MGNI.
Semis are
MGNI
leading.
stock is up 60% today. 60% MGNI. If you're waiting for this thing to pop for the
What
last,
is it? Software?
no, it's like a gaming company. Yeah,
Oh,
it's somewhat of a
okay.
gaming company, if you will. So if you're waiting for that if you're in this for the last 3 months, you finally got bailed out or it popped. But you know what I mean? It's just
Well, I did ask you Tuesday. I said, if by some chance I'm right and yields have peaked, which now it looks like, it's in the cake. I don't think we're going to take out 435 for a while. I think we're going to 3% in yields. I asked you which groups would benefit the most. Those should be leading today that had any interest rate pressure that they were feeling come off today.
Well, listen, I'm gonna. We've been. I try to make poignant statements, and I try to watch my vernacular, and because I don't want to get too dramatic. But I've been saying this more and more often, and I don't want to dilute the statement. It's all about the close today, Coach, and the levels at where they close. The believers, as I said before, and when I post in TradeGATEHub, all the option flow and everything is as we approach 11:20 Eastern, is starting to somewhat even out. So the cream, this is a time where I say do your homework, range volatility, and a proper price action, if you will. And you know what? This is certainly not a market where if you see something up, 18%, you see this thing's going higher. Definitely don't buy a lot of your position, because things can turn around very quickly. And if something drops, you're stuck with 4,000 or 5,000 shares or something down $1. Then if the market doesn't close correctly, then all of a sudden you're back in the cascades the way you were. They need another binary move to bail you out of something. You're down 10, 15%. So whatever you're going to do, I mean, I'll show my screen right here, and there are things that are just really, you're trying to describe, but you can't. APP, I was the only one in America buying this last night at 13. Unity Software was $17.50 last night. Now it's 27, and I sold it at 22. You're having everything across the board is strong. Ribbon announced numbers. Bamble, which was down $4 strong, squeezed. I'm just giving an indication of the market sentiment. That was, you can go to the chart here on BMBL.
I hardly see any red on your screen.
Well, here's a BMBL, something like a dog like this. They were breaking a year low at $18. It hit 24. A stock like that went from 18 to 24.
That's what I mean. A day like this lifts all boats. All boats. I mean, anything that's not, you know what? If you're in things that are not performing today, don't hope.
And I'm not, never hope, first of all. I did short a little bit of DuPont. I thought they rotated the Dow. You know what I mean? The RSI is a little oversold. I'm wrong in it right now. I think I'm shorted from like 70. Probably my fault. I shorted right here. I shorted at the strike price. I'm not going to add to it. If it doesn't work, I'm not going to hold it over the weekend. Could it have this is an example of every type of stock in the Dow that's doing this. For example, IBM
you've been showing that for a while.
Or a Honeywell, or what other stocks are this? A General Motors, well, actually, a United Airlines. Let's give it an example of that. So, you know what I mean? Am I going to be upset if DuPont opens up $2 on Monday and collapses for something like that? It's got that type of move in it, but I'm certainly not going to add to the short. I was putting out some feelers to offset my long. Certainly when the market is up this much, the SPY's up 16. I have a chance to fade. It doesn't mean I'm going to keep adding, shorting and hoping for the bottom to fall out by 230. It's not going to do that. Whatever I'm wrong and on the short side now, I'm going to look to cover and get out and move on and maybe reevaluate something else. I'm not stuck on the short side. As everybody knows, I'm mixed. I did take some profits. Some things I'm still in. But, certainly I'm not going to be a hero at this point of the game. You're looking at Yeti. I mean, this stock was dormant and there were huge calls going on. Huge calls. Everybody in the room should know that. And all of a sudden, 30 binary move, just like that. But if it was wrong and the number was the opposite, the stock would be at 22.5. And then you'd be waiting for another binary move to bail you out. And if that didn't happen, then the stock would be 20. So that's how it's been going. You know what I mean?
How's Freeport look? Another strong day in copper.
Yeah, I mean, that's getting back to my original statement. That's one stock that was acting well before, it's acting during, and it's acting well after.
I don't know. It's not that impressive, today's update.
Well, here's Schlumberger. I said short the oils. That one's negative. Here's
all right. Can I give you a trade on Schlumberger?
Yeah.
You have drive 1, you have drive 2. What's the time frame on this chart? Oh, it's a daily.
Yeah.
All right. So next high, no, just the last grouping, all the way to the right. It's look, yeah, there you go, right there. Oh, too far apart. All right, that high is 1 at 54. Then it pulled back, and then it went to 55, and it's pulling back. The next high won't confirm. I think it'll be a short.
The next high will be like 55, probably a strike right here.
56. Pull. It
I'm not
could
going to get
still
it that much.
could
All right.
still
No, I
pull.
understand. All right.
Anyway, 3 drive to a top formation setting up there. I'm actually looking at things to short
I am too.
right
I'm
now.
just kidding. Oh, which ones, Coach? Give me some names.
Actually, it'd probably surprise you. I think that silver up around the $22 area in the next several days. I also think that we're getting close to the end of the rally in the Australian dollar.
Okay.
And cable may have another 200, may go to 119, and euro I think is close to some very important resistance as well. So I'm thinking there's some shorts coming up next week, which flies in the face of risk on, if I'm thinking there's going to be a dollar rally, and lower yields. And it flies in the face of trying to fade anything if we're going to have lower yields, because it means less competition for everything.
Well, like I said, if you want to do any chasing, if you're going to do any chasing, if you will, do it later, because the real money's how the market closes, how the real money starts. You know what I mean? So as of now, it's lunchtime. Let things even out. Like I said, just take it from there. Another thing is, let's go back to this is really what you need. I could pull up TrendSpider, but stock scanner.
Yeah.
Just all you have to do is this: apply on relative volume. There's the change, relative volume. So listen, this is a good sign. As of 11:20 a.m., you're having pages of stocks with over right here. This is as of 1.7 volume. Yeah,
DR
look at and Lennar. If you did the right thing, like
we talked. I asked you about housing,
and even took Lennar last night. Or DHI.
Oh, yeah?
DHI had
Nice.
earnings, right?
Okay.
Acted well. It was up $10 at one point.
Yeah.
Lennar, same thing.
Okay, there's your interest. That this can just be starting here in home builders, because you really just had a turn in yields.
Look,
today.
Coach, I can't pay. What's the price in this? From 77 to 90.
Yeah.
I can't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now we talked about it earlier, but anyway, it's a breakaway gap actually. Anyway, they look good. So you wait for pullbacks then.
Yeah. All right. So listen, like everybody knows, we're gonna have to see how they finish today.
Okay, buddy. I know that you're preoccupied with a lot of stuff you want.
Yeah, and I want to thank Jake again for being such a pro, and during the time and coming on, that was a real and great interview, Coach. By the way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and watch that again and do some of my homework. Watch stocks with good pricing, good price range, good action and volume, and I'm going to go from there and start building again.
And he showed you a few tools you could use on the software you have, Mike.
What's that?
The tools he was using to display certain things.
Yeah.
For tells, you could,
I have it. Hold on.
You have those to use.
I have them right here. Hold on. TrendSpider. I'll log in.
Yeah, maybe you'll start using it
a little bit more. Yes.
Yeah.
But lock. But it's a great. I think I have so many windows open. Yeah, it's a great tool. I have too many windows.
I really like that market profile. It really shows where the supply is.
Definitely. No, it's a great tool, and I use it.
Yeah.
And I was so happy when he had him on. It was a great show, if you will.
Well, thanks,
Mike. Going, Coach. All right, so listen,
buddy.
Everybody stay in the room, be prudent, have a plan, and we'll see you after lunch.
Yeah, you know what, guys? I'll guarantee you this, that the market will be here tomorrow. Make sure your equity is.
True.
Adios.
Okay, have a good day, Coach. Thanks again. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.